This is an audio recording of the Next 10 report. My name's Deborah Clarke. Congratulations for taking a big step forward in pursuit of an even happier, healthier, and wealthier life. It seems people typically spend more time planning a vacation than they do consciously thinking about or planning a solid vision or outlook for their life. So I commend you for taking the time, even if it is only 30 minutes, to work through an amazingly simple yet effective exercise that'll give you your life added value and purpose. Perhaps more importantly, it'll allow you to recognize a job well done when you can acknowledge your life's work down the road. I've worked in the business community my entire life, and I can tell you successful businesses spend a lot of time and resources determining a strong vision and mission statement. A small percentage of the most successful of these businesses also spend a great deal of time continuously communicating the vision and the mission statement through all of their employees right through to the customer. So why do we invest the time and resources to do this? Because it dramatically increases the likelihood of success and achievement of these values and mission. The exercise I'm introducing to you as a gift is a seemingly simple tool, not nearly as arduous as developing a vision or mission statement. But it has the same effect. Whether you've studied the power of the subconscious mind or not, there's no disputing that self-talk, positive affirmations, meditation, or putting your subconscious to work even while you're sleeping will all help bring clarity, purpose, and enlightenment to help you make decisions throughout your life. The gift that you're receiving today in a simpler format will do all of that and more. If you put the time and sincere effort into this gift exercise, it will actually feed your subconscious long after you've forgotten about the Next 10 report to help you achieve the message that you've fed it. I promise I've lived it. You may be asking again, why and how? I've delivered this exercise to classes, workshops, and in seminars across the nation and to all different types of groups, from business students to community leaders. I've seen almost every reaction to this exercise that you can imagine. Reactions from flat-out refusal, like why, this is nonsense, to people breaking down and crying as they work through the exercise. And what I tell people is the way that you expect life to be will be amazingly close to the way life will be. And even times of deviation from a clear plan end up having some relevance in the big picture of our lives. Some people go through life wearing a sign on their forehead that says, hit me, kick me, beat me up, just figuratively speaking. And with that storyline or self-talk, that's what happens most of their life. The really great thing is that we can shift our mindset at any moment in time. And I hope that this is a defining moment in time for you. And that's why this exercise is truly a gift. So here it is, the why to answering the statement, the way you expect life to be will be very close to the way life will be. Because you will only attract what you keep focusing on. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what's a vision or an imaginary event or outcome. So let's start feeding your subconscious mind today with the full, luscious, healthier, happier, wealthier life that you're desiring to live. Your future success and happiness may depend on it, so let's not leave that to chance. It was my grade 12 year at high school, age 18, when I first was given this gift. I didn't know at the time the impact that it would have on my life, nor did I know that it was truly a gift at that time. But I'd like to tell you my story, and then I'll walk you through step by step through this amazingly simple but powerful tool, and I'm certain that it's going to influence the next 10 years of your life. So are you ready? Here's my story. This is the power of this tool. In my grade 12 year at high school, one of my school assignments was to design a home suitable to my lifestyle 10 years into the future. It was to include a floor plan, complete with furnishings. And this was a project that was quite interesting to me as an 18-year-old, so I was eager to get started. But then the teacher put a limiter on us. She said, and I paraphrase this from memory, but she said, I want everyone to keep this in perspective. This is 10 years into your future, so I don't want anyone designing a house over 2,000 square feet. Well, let me tell you, I put a lot of effort into that report to prove why my lifestyle, 10 years into my future, would warrant a home over 2,000 square feet. I did get an A grade on that assignment, but the real reward came to me 8 years later, long after the report had been stuffed away in the old school files and long forgotten. It was 8 years after my graduation when my husband and I, with our 1-year-old daughter, purchased our dream home out in the country. It was set on 3 acres. And yes, you guessed it, it was more than 2,000 square feet. It was a custom-built home of 2,600 square feet. I was 26 years old. My husband was 28 years old. I had already excelled in one career in the tourism industry. I had purchased and successfully grown and then sold a business of my own. And that's what afforded us to be able to stretch into this new custom-built dream home. Admittedly, when we viewed the home with the owners the first time, it was a pretty quiet ride home, because we knew it would be a stretch for us to afford this house. But both my husband and I knew if there was any way possible, we were going to make this happen. We did make it happen, and the enlightenment came to me the day we were moving in. I went to the lawyers to get the keys for our new home, and when I arrived at the home, the guys that were helping us move in and my mom were already in the new house. Mom was in the kitchen, and she was washing dishes and putting them away for me, and she was beaming with pride. And she said to me, "I'm so proud of you too. I can't believe this is your new home. It's beautiful. The house is beautiful. The yard is beautiful." And then something inside me went, "Na na 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 na." And I thought to myself, where did that come from? And it wasn't until much later, when reflecting back on that feeling that I experienced in the kitchen with my mom, that I realized it was clearly that 10-year report that I had written back in high school. I had meticulously crafted that report to convince my teacher that my lifestyle in the next 10 years would warrant a home over 2,000 square feet. And not only had I convinced my teacher, receiving an A grade, I had also convinced my subconscious. Unbeknown to me, and long after that report had been forgotten, my subconscious mind was helping me to make decisions throughout my life that was leading me to this new home and this new lifetime goal. I did go digging in my old school files after the move, and I found the original report. It was amazing to read in detail. It was almost a mere reflection of my life for the 8 years prior. It even included owning and operating my own business, which I had done. So that's my story. In the entrepreneurial years that followed, while living in our new home and working out of the main floor home office long before having home offices were cool, I started using the 10-year letter to yourself as one of my training tools. I have written and lived through a few 10-year letters and reports since, and I'm so excited to be able to pass this gift on to you. It's an amazing tool, and it's an amazing gift, and it can start working magic in your life right away. So the concept of this exceptional tool, here's the concept. It's to be thought of as a 10-year letter to yourself. You date the letter, and that date becomes today's date, but the date is 10 years into the future. So you'll craft this letter to yourself thinking about what this month, this day, and this year, 10 years into your future, looks like for you. Some of us have taken a road less traveled since 10 years earlier. Some of us, the superhighway. And what's been going on for you for the last 10 years in your life since you got that next 10 report? You won't believe the power of this seemingly simple tool. The more complex is the power of your subconscious that you're going to be feeding with this letter as a guide to all your future thoughts and decisions and acts, and how you'll feel so much more in control and able to handle whatever lies ahead for you. So are you ready to jump in and get started? I'd love to walk you through this tool. Cheers. So these are the instructions, next 10 report. On the top, you're going to date the letter 10 years into the future, the month, the day, and the year 10 years into the future. You're going to give the letter an address, and you're going to give your address some thought. This is the address that you expect to be living in the month and year 10 years into the future. So think where you might be living at that time of year that you're writing the letter. Now, many people will say, Deborah, how will I possibly know what my address will be? Well, you may not know the exact street or even the city or town for certainty, but there's a lot you do know. Start big. Geographically, where in the world do you see yourself living at that time of year? Will it be in Canada, in the US, somewhere in the UK, Europe? It could be a permanent address, or given the time of year, it could be a vacation property. So you decide. You can also decide if you're living in a major city or a small town or village. So your address could be a street number on Lakeshore Boulevard or Sunset Street or Mountain Ave, or it could be a condo number and a street name. Or it could be a rural route address if you're out in the country on a farm. So you get the idea. You're going to make up the type of address that you would like to be living the month, day, and year 10 years into the future. Then you're going to put your salutation. Dear so-and-so, you put your first name here. The subject line is 10-year letter to myself, and you're going to proclaim what the 10-year period was. In the first paragraph of your letter, you're going to set the scene for the month of year. You're going to talk about how old you are. You're going to talk about the ages of important people around you in your life. And this is where I've had some people break down and cry in workshops doing this. One lady became very distraught because she suddenly realized that her dog would no longer be with her as of that date. So I really physically want you to put yourself into that place 10 years into the future. Talk about where you are this month and year to set the scene. Talk about your happiness, your health, your wealth. Are you employed? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a student, full-time or part-time? Are you retired? So in that first paragraph, you're setting the scene. In paragraphs 2 and 3, you're going to talk about what's been going on in your life since 2015 or whenever you first received this letter. What are some of the things that you've done? What are some of the things you've enjoyed or you've learned or you've experienced? What's some of the best work that you've done? And the more specific about things that you can talk about that are important to you, the more likely they're going to come to fruition. So remember, your subconscious mind can't determine a positive, completed statement from reality. So you want to feed your subconscious the life and the lifestyle that you want to live. You want to make it real for 10 years into the future. And in the closing paragraph, you're going to make a couple of final remarks about the year you're living in. And maybe something specific that you're doing the day of your letter. You want to finish your letter with a very positive final statement. Something like, life doesn't get any better than this. Sincerely, Deborah. Finish it with your name. And the last piece that I want to say to you is that I have a template there. This is the format that the letter could look with your month and day. Set it up like a letter with your address, Dear Deborah, whatever your first name is, and then your 2 or 3 paragraphs and sign it off. So thank you very much for joining me. I can't wait for you to experience this 10-year letter for yourself, and may all the goodness that you're hoping for come true in your life. Cheers.